It's Friday, May 2nd, 2025. Welcome to episode 152 of the Alameda Postcast, an audio service of the Alameda Post. I'm your host, Scott Peeler. With this episode, the Postcast enters its fourth year of serving Alameda. That's right, back on April 29th of 2022, episode 1 started our journey. Postcast listenership has grown steadily since then, and for that I say, thank you for making it part of your routine. Making the news this week, the Planning Board grapples with short-term rentals, the latest crime statistics, tunnels, and traffic, the car show that wasn't, the Real ID deadline is upon us, canine helpers at Alameda Hospital, a preview of the next City Council meeting, your chance for free ferry tickets, weekend events, and get ready for some blustery weather. These stories and more on this episode of the Alameda Postcast. Our top story, as reported back in February in episode 141, the Planning Board has been working on drafting a short-term rental ordinance. These are rentals under 30 days, think Airbnb or Vrbo. On Monday, the Planning Board held a workshop to receive comments on staff recommendations for such an ordinance. Short-term rental, or STRs, exist in an interesting nether region. City zoning regulations are largely silent on them, and many operators do not obtain business licenses or pay required transient occupancy taxes. STRs are also exempt from local rent control due to their less than 30-day rental term. A key recommendation was to allow hosted STRs where the owner lives year-round in the dwelling where the guests are staying, but to limit semi- and unhosted STRs to 90 days per year. Semi-hosted rentals are where the host lives in one unit on the property and rents out another, like an ADU. Unhosted rentals are where the owner lives off-site. The unhosted rentals tend to garner the most complaints. At the workshop, Alameda resident Joe Kaiser described serious disturbances from an unhosted Airbnb next door to his home. He said that the house was initially rented to stable tenants, but since converting to Airbnb, the property has become a nuisance. He supported requiring an on-site host for STRs. The 90-day limit drew criticism from many property owners. With the cost of housing so high in Alameda, many STR operators rely on the income stream generated by an Airbnb or Vrbo. Board members agreed with allowing hosted STRs year-round and either prohibiting unhosted STRs or imposing day limits. Some said they prefer a 90-day limit, allowing owners to rent their homes for a season while they live elsewhere, such as during a summer break. Staff will use workshop feedback to draft an ordinance for Planning Board review in summer of 2025, with City Council consideration expected in the fall. Find Karen Jensen's article at alamedapost.com/news. APD has released the crime statistics for March. Coming off some extremely low numbers in February, there were increases. Auto thefts were up from 36 to 42, but that still represents a 69% decrease from a year ago. Recovered stolen vehicles edged up from 40 to 43. Catalytic converter thefts recorded a 6-month low with 6. Assaults and robberies were down, but overall arrests hit a 6-month high. While collisions increased from February, the total number of collisions of 55 is the second lowest number of the past 6 months. Find the full article, along with charts highlighting the trends, in Gene Chen's article at alamedapost.com/news. Last Thursday, Alameda residents and business owners packed the open house at the Alameda Chamber and Economic Alliance office at South Shore Center to learn and provide input on the Oakland-Alameda Access Project. This is the upcoming project that will fundamentally change the interface between the Posey Tube and Oakland. Included in the project, a new right-turn exit from the Posey Tube for more direct access to both directions of Interstate 880, a new horseshoe ramp from the Posey Tube onto northbound 880, and demolishing the northbound 880 off-ramp to Broadway to make way for a continuous multimodal 6th Street in Oakland. The project also includes multiple improvements for cyclists and pedestrians. If it sounds like a lot, you're right, and it's going to take some time. Project construction is expected to begin this fall and last through spring of 2029 and will require the following lane closures. Daytime continuous one-lane closures of the Webster Tube for the first 6 months of the project and of the Posey Tube for the subsequent 12 months. Approximately 20 to 25 occasional overnight closures will be required while construction activity is taking place for either tube. There will also be 8 55-hour weekend full closures of the Posey Tube to allow for major demolition and construction activity in Oakland. At no point during the construction will both tubes be closed simultaneously, but detours are projected to add up to 15 minutes to existing travel time. There are a lot of details involved in this project. While the in-person open houses are over, there's still time to register for the May 14th virtual presentation via Zoom. You can find all the details and the sign-up link in Ken Durr's article at alamedapost.com/news. In the interest of full disclosure, we should note that in addition to his work with the Post, Ken is a transportation engineer planner employed by Fair and Peers and contributed to the development of the Oakland Alameda Access Project. More than a few eyebrows were raised last month when an event billing itself as the Tesla Takeover announced it was coming to Alameda Point. It was advertised as a convention of Tesla fans featuring a lineup of guest speakers, including influencers, YouTube personalities, investors, and the vice president of vehicle engineering at Tesla. The event was later renamed X Takeover. The Post reached out repeatedly to X Takeover organizers to find out more about the event, but did not receive a response. After emailing Sarah Henry, Communications and Legislative Affairs Officer for the City of Alameda, the Post learned that a permit was never issued for the event, and that the X Takeover organizers had simply assumed that they could use Alameda Point for the event. Ms. Henry noted, quote, "When the city discovered that event organizers were publicizing Alameda Point as the venue without an approved permit, we immediately directed them to remove our location from their materials. They were also informed that the city would not be issuing a permit for the event, so they did not submit their application," end quote. Gene Chen has the story that wasn't at AlamedaPost.com/news. It's been coming for a while, but it's finally here. Starting Wednesday, if you're planning on flying, you better have Real ID compliant identification as you head through the TSA checkpoints. You might have seen posters advising you of the change. It's been in the works ever since Congress passed the Real ID Act in 2005. California started issuing Real ID compliant licenses in 2018. The rollout of the system has been rather patchwork across the country, but no more. If you're not sure if your license is compliant, we've got a complete guide at AlamedaPost.com/news. If your license is not compliant, plan on bringing your passport. Alameda Health Systems has launched a new canine visitation program at Alameda Hospital and San Leandro Hospital, bringing certified therapy dogs to the facilities to provide comfort and companionship to patients and staff. We'll have the story early next week at AlamedaPost.com/features. On the subject of previews, Karen Jensen has a look ahead at Tuesday's upcoming City Council meeting. On the docket, Fire Department staff will provide an update on the Community Assessment Response and Engagement, or CARE team program. Council will also re-examine the Third-Party Food Delivery Services Ordinance, which caps third-party delivery fees at 15% for restaurants. Also on Tuesday, Housing and Human Services staff will recommend that the City Council accept the Social Service Human Relations Board Work Plan for fiscal 25 through 26. Karen's got all the details, including ways you can participate, at AlamedaPost.com/news. If you're looking for some free ferry tickets, San Francisco Bay Ferry is holding a video contest with the first 200 entries to receive 3 free passes, and if you win, you could have a whole summer's worth of rides for absolutely nothing out of your pocket. All the details at AlamedaPost.com/features. Submission deadline is May 11th. A couple of seasonal events have returned to Alameda. Greer Family Mortuary's Coffins and Cars, a.k.a. Cars and Coffee, is back this Saturday from 8 until 10 at 2694 Blanding Avenue. The fundraiser will be held on the first Saturday of the month from now until November. Alameda Recreation and Parks has released the 2025 Starlight Movies in the Park schedule. Kicks off Friday, May 16th at the Alameda Multipurpose Field with Moana 2. Good-looking schedule. If I were you, I'd mark my calendar for Friday, July 25th for your chance to catch The Wild Robot. For my money, the best animated film of 2024. You'll find each movie on our events calendar at 94501.info. A word to the wise on another seasonal occurrence. If you're a dog owner, beware the foxtails are in bloom, so pay attention to where Fido is sniffing or walking. Search AlamedaPost.com for the term foxtails to learn more. This season has also brought some weather to be aware of. The National Weather Service and other outlets calling for a very windy day on Saturday with gusts up to 40 miles per hour, so be prepared. Amanda Laird's All Around Alameda column has some ideas that could keep you dry and entertained this weekend. You can do some shopping, help out some fun causes, educate yourself as well. Faction Brewing hosting the Home Electrification Fair Saturday from 1 until 4. A couple of pet-related sales, including Cat Resources and Foz. The Gathering of the Goths is at the USS Hornet, and learn how to homebrew during Alameda's Big Brew. Find Amanda's article at AlamedaPost.com/Alameda-Life. Thank you for your support of local news for Alameda. Show your support by heading to AlamedaPost.com/donate. Remember, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, MSN, YouTube, Mastodon, Threads, Blue Sky, as well as our very own subreddit. Subscribe to our channel on Apple News and look for us on Nextdoor. Find the Postcast wherever you get your podcasts, or simply tell your smart device to play the Alameda Postcast podcast. I'm Scott Peeler. I'll be back next Friday with episode 153 of the Alameda Postcast.